like-minded people like you and me. Welcome home, LA. We're all in this together. It's KBLA Talk 1580, broadcasting from the heart of LA's Leimert Park. We've got a lot to talk about.
You can't do it unless you believe that you can do it.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA, Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First, my first thing every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. Happy Friday, TGIF. We have a lot to talk about. In hour one, we usually talk about the local. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. In hour three, a deep dive with a person or persons of interest. Today is no exception. You are invited in every hour. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I will say, though, that I am not going to be lonely today. I am being joined with a partner in politics for hour one and hour two. Please do not let that deter you from joining the conversation. You are also my partner in politics. You are part of this KBLA delegation, and hopefully you know the number by now, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Hour three, we're going to be talking with the co-founder, CEO, and producing artistic director of the Roby Theater Company. Of course, Paul Robeson's birthday is Sunday, and Ben Guillory and David Bolar is also joining us. He is a director, and Ben is also an incredibly accomplished actor. Should be quite an interesting conversation about many things, including Mr. Paul Robeson, whose birthday is coming up on Sunday. How are you this morning? How you feeling? What you doing? I'm being joined hour one by a KBLA host in his own right. He is lead organizer for Black Lives Matter LA, and is also the founder of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute. Akili, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique, and thank you once again for having us. And good morning to the KBLA family. And I enjoy being your partners on Monday.
Appreciate that.
In the morning.
Yes, it's always a good thing. You have a lot of perspective. There's so much going on nationally, and you've got so much experience in the campaign space. I'm tempted to pivot, but I'm going to try to be disciplined here and stay on our LA stuff as much as possible. And there's plenty going on here as well. I should have mentioned hour two will be joined by Jasmine Canick to unpack what's going on the national level. So it seems that the city of Los Angeles is suing over this website. The LAPD released a bunch of pictures per a media request to knock LA and stop LAPD spying. And well, they released it to knock LA, and then, of course, Stop LAPD Spying got it. They created a website so that people could have access to knowing who the cop is that pulled you over, since many times they like to cover up their badges and stuff. And now the groups are being sued by the city attorney, Heidi Feldstein Soto. It seems like really, I mean, a lot of experts are saying this is a straight up First Amendment violation. You cannot just sue a journalist. But that's what they are doing. The union, I'm putting union in air quotes, the police association is suing Chief Moore and the city, and now the city is suing the journalist. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, thank you, and I think it's typical of the PPL. This is an association of people who will do anything and everything to protect police and resist any form of accountability or transparency. And this is simply in line with what they do. By the way, this was so-called inadvertently exposed, but once it's out there, I don't know how you get it back. I don't know how you put the genie back in the bottle.
Right. So the police association is saying that they want the city to spend all this money to scrub the internet, and that's why the LAPD is suing. No, the police are suing the LAPD and the city. But now the city attorney is bringing charges against Knock LA and Stop LAPD spying. And to me, that is just insane. I've talked to Heidi Feldstein Soto before when she was running for office, and I didn't think she was this cuckoo to be doing. I mean, that's First Amendment. It's basic First Amendment. How are you going to sue Knock LA and Stop LAPD spying for doing what journalists do?
And if that's the case, then why should we have Freedom of Information Acts? Why should journalists be able to see this? And I want to remind people that for many years, journalists tried to get records, and the police associations and police departments fought against it. Statewide legislation had to be passed. If I remember correctly, it was AB 1421 that finally gave journalists access to these records.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes. And so this is a part of their pattern. They don't want accountability. They don't want transparency. And I think what the city attorney is doing is protecting, the in my mind, killer cops, quite frankly. But more importantly, pushing back against the First Amendment right for the people to know, and the people to speak about a public agency. This is not some private firm. This is not some group of people off, doing some things nefariously. This is a public agency paid for with public dollars.
Right. And the other thing is, if you're mad that these photos were released, you need to go after the LAPD's officer who released them, and you need to go after the city officer or administrator who cleared it. And Chief Moore for not double checking it. It is not LAPD, Stop LAPD spying or Knock LA's fault. If they request public records and you give it to them and you accidentally give them something they weren't supposed to have, how do they know that? They're going to publish what they get. It's not their job to be the gatekeepers. It's very Trumpian. I really it's
well, think about it on your own show. If you had that information and they gave it to you inadvertently or whatever, and you used it, and then they tried to shut down First Things First, what would people in our community think about that? What would people think? Why are they trying to shut down Dominique? She's simply explaining and telling the information that you have access to.
Well, we know why they're trying to shut down Cerise Castle, though. I mean, Cerise Castle has been cutting edge. She's been writing really profound stuff about these sheriffs' gangs. She's been very fearless, and she's the managing editor of Knock LA. So I don't think it's at all surprising that they're going after her. It just, I wouldn't have expected that from Heidi Feldstein Soto. That to me is far right-wing Trumpian, the press is the enemy type silliness. Oh, we've got to throw somebody under the bus, so let's go get these progressive activists in the press. Ridiculous. We're talking with Akili of Black Lives Matter LA and the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute. And Akili, when we come forward, I want to get your thoughts. You were inside the courtroom on Wednesday when the judge decided to take more time to figure out how to rule on the Black Lives Matter Grassroots, the activist side of Black Lives Matter, in their attempt to sue the Global Network Foundation, BLM GNF, which has hijacked the social media, the money, and possibly even the logo. Wow, a lot going on. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Jai Person Lynn here with Person Lynn Law Office. As a fourth-generation Angelino, educated at Hampton University and Howard University School of Law, I understand the importance of upholding your human and civil rights whenever dealing with law enforcement. Whether facing a misdemeanor, felony, or infraction, I'm here to ease the stress and uncertainty that comes with an arrest or criminal charge. My team is dedicated to providing the best legal representation, and we will work with you at every step to ensure you are fully informed and your rights are protected. With nearly 2 decades of experience and a long track record of success, I will work diligently to ensure the best possible outcome. Call me as soon as you're aware of police contact at 424-261-2075. That's 424-261-2075. 424-261-2075.
Our Weekly Los Angeles is the largest audited Black newspaper in the state of California, with a distribution of over 50,000 copies weekly. Pick up a copy every Thursday to get the latest news on African American communities of LA. You can also keep up with what's going on in Los Angeles and surrounding cities by going to www.ourweekly.com. The Our Weekly website is updated daily with the current news about us and for us. For your advertising needs, Our Weekly offers economical advertising packages to fit your budget. Feel free to call Our Weekly Los Angeles at 323-905-1300 or visit the website at www.ourweekly.com. Our Weekly Los Angeles, reporting news that matters to you.
This world has its limits, but in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya, you've got a world of possibilities. You can leave it all behind in serene interiors, or you can go after it with available e-Force all-wheel drive. Go your way in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya. Nissan Ariya with e-Force not yet available for purchase. Expected availability early 2023, subject to change. e-Force all-wheel drive is an optional feature. e-Force cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save on the brands you trust. Right now, buy a select DeWalt 12-volt bare tool starting at $119 and get a DeWalt 12-volt 2-pack battery free valued at $129. Plus, you'll always save big on job lot quantities when buying select building supplies in bulk. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Lowe's reserves the right to limit quantities. Discount taken at time of purchase. Battery and charger not included with buy items. Valid through buy 3.
Connection established. Access granted.
In a survey conducted by the public opinion research firm Eviderus, KBLA Talk 1580 consistently emerged as the station of choice for Black audiences in the Los Angeles media market and beyond. The survey also revealed that the vast majority of Black audiences are concerned about the lack of Black-owned media and are more likely to listen to talk radio that focuses on issues that impact the Black community. For some reason, the other talk stations haven't quite figured that out.
If you think about KFI, well, KFI only has like a 3% Black listenership. 3%. So there's a good 97% out there to support a station like KBLA.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black. Your Black. Your Black.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
I do think it's fortunate, Akili, that the LA Times interviewed Erwin Chemerinsky, the famous constitutional lawyer, and he says it's completely unconstitutional. You cannot shut down press agencies or sue them for lawfully obtained material. Like that's so. Hopefully, this will be. But to me, the fact that our city attorney thinks that's okay is really problematic, and it makes me wonder what we will be facing when we're back to some mass protests and such. Because when you have a city attorney that doesn't respect the Constitution, that's a problem, right? Especially for protesters and folks, exercising their First Amendment rights. Of course, you know that better than I do. You're one of those folks that likes to go get arrested.
Well, I don't like to go and get arrested, but but certainly,
it's part of your job.
Yeah, I was trying to count the other day. I think it's about 16 times over the decades that I've been arrested. 16?
But I think, yeah, wow.
Yes, at least, yeah. I've been arrested in almost every decade. Well, certainly the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But part of what I think the city attorney is doing is choosing to side with the police over the people. What the city attorney is doing is deciding to side with the institution and the PPL, not the people. And I think that's the problem. But that's a part of the overall framework that they see themselves as part of, quote, law enforcement, when in fact they were put there by the people to protect the people's interest, not the police interest.
That's an interesting point. Okay, so let's start on what's happening with Black Lives Matter Grassroots. For those that are paying attention and hopefully paying attention to progressive or black media as opposed to the right-wing rags like the New York Post, they know that the Black Lives Matter Grassroots, the boots on the ground of the movement, are suing the Global Network Foundation, the BLM GNF, who has hijacked the resources, allegedly hijacked the social media platforms, the money, and the good name of Black Lives Matter. A week ago, Wednesday, you guys were in court trying to shut down this anti-SLAPP motion, which would have stopped you from moving forward with your lawsuit against them. This week on Wednesday, you were back in court for a separate part of that anti-SLAPP motion, which was focused on this guy who goes by the AKA of Shalomia Bowers and his company Bowers, which is, we know from the 990s, has paid himself already $2.2 million from the money people donated to Black Lives Matter, which of course was meant for grassroots, was meant for the activism. What happened on Wednesday, if you would describe the scene and what the final outcome was?
Well, thank you so much. And I want to be clear, I'm not a legal expert, and this is a really complicated kind of issue. But just, kind of building on what you just said, Black Lives Matter Grassroots, which is Black Lives Matter, we were forced to file a lawsuit against the Global Network Foundation. I say forced because we tried to work this out. We tried to make sure that the lines were clear, that there was going to be a transition, because they are simply consultants. They don't have any movement history. They don't have any movement relationships. They're consultants. And because they don't have that movement history, it was planned that it would be the resources would be transferred to Black Lives Matter Grassroots and transition to Black Lives Matter Grassroots, because we were the people on the ground. We were the movement people. We were the people that were making it happen. And so we were forced to take them to court because they stole the resources, at least $90 million, all of our social media, that came from the hard work of people like me and Melina and others being arrested and the rest. So they stole that. And they are using the good name of Black Lives Matter and simply sounding more like, black activists will work or something. They have no relationship to Black Lives Matter. And remember, we were formed to end state-sanctioned violence. They're parading around, going to red carpet events and that kind of stuff, and sounding like the Democratic Party. And that's not who we are. That's not why we were founded, and that's not the work that we are doing. And so we were in court these last two Wednesdays to push back legally push back against their efforts to try to stop our lawsuit for moving forward. It's something called, we're fighting what is called an anti-SLAPP motion, and it's intended to block the lawsuit from moving forward. They're denying our allegation of fraud and unjust enrichment. They're saying that by challenging them, we're blocking their First Amendment rights. We are saying you can't just come in, take our resources for yourself, having done no work on your own, and simply using our name to do it. It puts me in the mind of thinking about Prince. When Prince was the artist, Prince was the genius, but Sony Records wanted to benefit, and he stopped using his name until he got his rights back. We are being, our resources are being mismanaged and stolen by people who have nothing to do with the movement, have nothing to do with building the movement, and have nothing to do with maintaining the movement. And so we were in court, and the court was full. We were able to get people there, in part because, people know what we are doing. People see what we are doing. And one of the things that we do, I think the best, and you've heard me say this many times, this for me, this is the best work I've done in 52 years, in large part because it's led by Black women, and secondly because of the work we are doing with families, like Gashario Mack and the James Mincy family, and Antonio Vargas and Waukesha. They were all in the Waukesha Wilson. They were all in the courtroom on the 2 Wednesdays that we were there because they wanted to know and hear what was going to be the decision. And I want to keep reminding people that Black Lives Matter Grassroots is Black Lives Matter. The judge didn't say a final ruling when it would come, and whenever we find out, we will come back to hear it. And so we'll continue to fight. And what this is, what this is really about is 1, our good name, 2, our good activities, and 3, our good efforts at ending state-sanctioned violence. Black Lives Matter is Black-centered, demand-driven, and direct action focused. We're not a bunch of consultants. We're not a bunch of people who try to make money off the movement so that we can live better. And we are fighting for our good name. We are fighting for our good reputation, and we are fighting for our good works.
Right. You know this clock better than I do. You have a show. And in fact, if you want to tune in,
yes,
this is not a drill. It's Saturday mornings from 8 to 10. But we got about a minute here. Yes. I just want to make sure people understand that you guys, this wasn't the first step. You guys tried to negotiate something with GNF, right?
Absolutely. We spent months trying to work out something. There was communications. There was an agreement, a transition agreement that we were working on in good faith. To make sure that the resources that many of us have been in the movement for the past, and remember, BLM wasn't started in 2020. It started in 2013. So we're coming up on 10 years, and so. What we are fighting for is all the work that went into the past 10 years of building our good name and challenging, confronting, and disrupting the society to end state-sanctioned violence.
Well, that was perfectly done, just like a radio guy. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and we're taking your phone calls, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk 1580, unapologetically progressive.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Welcome to a Friday. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Tennessee Republicans have expelled 2 Black Democrats after they protested in the House chambers for stricter gun laws. Republican resolutions in the House said lawmakers did knowingly and intentionally bring disorder and dishonor to the state chamber when they protested following the March 27th Nashville, Tennessee school shooting. The Internal Revenue Service is hiring a lot more help. The IRS said Thursday it will add up to nearly 30,000 new staffers to put new technology to work. over the next couple of years. More than 8,000 of those new hires will be enforcement staff. The tax agency will continue beefing up customer service after adding 5,000 new taxpayer services staff. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Stop going it alone for recruiting and staffing. Choose a local expert. Hiring is about getting to know people, not algorithms. So let the team at Express Employment Professionals hire for you. Visit expresspros.com to find the office near you.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers and Clippers have 2 games left in the regular season to improve their playoff position in the Western Conference. The Lakers are at home tonight against Phoenix. They wrap up Sunday against Utah. The Clippers are at home Saturday against Portland, then close out Sunday at Phoenix. Tiger Woods is in 54th place at the Masters after shooting 2 over 74 in Thursday's first round. He's 9 shots behind the leaders, but only 1 shot off from making the cut. Tiger will have to play a lot better today to avoid elimination. The LSU women's basketball team has accepted an invitation from President Biden for a celebration at the White House. LSU players were considering not going to the White House after First Lady Jill Biden suggested Iowa's team should come as well. LSU beat Iowa Sunday for the national championship. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tell me you're the boy that girl.
I'm young, gifted, and black. KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
Hey there, I'm Jared Hill, president of the National Association of Black Journalists of Los Angeles, and I just want to say thank you for the benevolent $10,000 donation in scholarships for the next generation of black journalists.
And I'm Haywood Galbraith, photojournalist and founder of the Minority Photojournalism Institute. Thanks, KBLA, for your generous $10,000 scholarship gift to help us train the next generation of black photojournalists.
Congratulations to all the students who will benefit from the scholarship dollars raised at our Black History Month luncheon honoring black legends in LA media. When we come forward at KBLA Talk 1580, we're bringing everybody with us. Everybody with us. Everybody with us.
Los Angeles, get ready for a very exciting Black Music History Festival coming Saturday, April 8th in downtown Los Angeles, Pershing Square, 532 South Olive Street, featuring hip-hop legend Kool Moe Dee, R&B performances by Jane Eugene featuring Loose Ends and Cheryl Cooley of Climax. You will enjoy food vendors, African dance, spoken word, and more. This is a free event, but you must register online through Eventbrite. Brought to you by the City of Los Angeles Recreation and Parks, a Black History Music Festival celebration not to be missed.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
The FAA will be hiring air traffic controllers soon. Applications open June 24th through June 27th. If you know someone between the ages of 18 and 30 who might be interested, please tell them to go to www.faa.gov/BE-ATC to apply today. The salary range is $103,000 to $164,000. There's also paid training and school. Again, that's www.faa.gov/BE-ATC. Again, that's www.faa.gov/BE-ATC to apply to be an air traffic controller. This community call to action is brought to you by the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals and KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Talking with Akili of Fannie Lou Hamer Institute and Black Lives Matter LA, one of the 26 chapters affiliated with Black Lives Matter Grassroots, which is taking the Global Network Foundation to court, or at least they're trying to. If the judge rules, and she's thinking about it, I guess we don't have a timeline. It could come today. It could come in a month. if the judge rules that anti-SLAPP motion stands, that means Black Lives Matter Grassroots cannot move forward with the lawsuit, right?
Yes, it does. And that's why we packed the courtroom on those two occasions, on those 2 Wednesdays, with people who are interested, supportive, and concerned about the status of Black Lives Matter. And that they're concerned about usurpers, like I said, people who have no movement history, but who are coming in representing themselves as Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter Grassroots is Black Lives Matter. And one of the things that this hinges on, for me anyway, as an activist for many years, and having people like Brother Hank Jones with us, and who was also in the court with us. And Hank is a brother from the San Francisco 8, and he did time for his activism. We had clergy that was there supporting us, and what that means and what that demonstrates is because we have been doing the work, because we have been building the relationships, and because we have been focused on demanding an end to state-sanctioned violence, socially, politically, and economically, we have built the relationships. We are doing the work, and that we don't want people to get confused with some foundation that happens to have our name. It's a classic example of people who wear the jersey, but they ain't on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot of people walk around with Laker T-shirts on, but that don't mean they're on the team. They might probably support the Lakers, but that doesn't mean they're on the team. And so what this legal issue is about is the resources, the work, and the implementation and name of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, it's it's the whole story about the house, right? That the Global Network Foundation bought in North Hollywood really got a lot of people questioning Black Lives Matter, the movement, right? It's been used to disparage all of the work of Black Lives Matter, the chapters, Grassroots, and the Global Network Foundation. I think people kind of lump it all together. And now here you are in court. How do you see that?
Well, one of the things that has happened is Black Lives Matter took a simple statement and turned it into a movement. But many people identified with the statement and supported it. What we are trying to do is take that statement and continue. And we started out by saying we want this to be more than a moment. We're building a movement. And here are a group of people, usurpers, and they identified with the name and wanted to, be a part of it, but really haven't done any work. And a classic example is buying that house. First of all, those of us in LA had nothing to do and no information about buying that house and why they would do it. But why would you do that in the Hollywood Hills and, do it around having artist space? Artist space is good, and we support the arts, but we are a movement. We are a movement that's challenging state-sanctioned violence. And so those are examples of the kind of misrepresentation of what Black Lives Matter is about. And, this, unfortunately, and I've seen this happen over the years. I've seen groups split and re-break up and do all that kind of stuff. But what I haven't seen is the kind of irresponsibleness of organizations that, to take our resources, to take our good name, and to take both the money that people gave the movement, not some foundation, and people signed up, to our social media to be in communication with us and learn about what we're doing and how they could support us. They didn't sign up to be, the recipient of, the general information about things that are happening in the Black community. They signed up because they wanted to be a part of a movement,
right.
Not some consulting firm.
And I also think it's important for people to understand that, at least this is how I see it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Black Lives Matter had grassroots. Black Lives Matter had no money really prior to 2020, and that foundation was formed to manage the money. But a lot of times, with organizers on the ground, activists are not used to having these kinds of structures, like the nonprofit structure, BLM, GNF, or even creating the grassroots structure, which was necessary when things, when everyone just could call themselves Black Lives Matter, and all kinds of unintended consequences were coming from that. And so they might not. That's how, because you kind of say, well, how does a guy take over your social media and your money? Like, was somebody not paying attention? How does that even happen?
Well, and I think your point is well taken. And I certainly have been a part of that over the years, because we've been on the ground. We're doing the work. And one of the things that Dr. Melina Abdullah talks about is being the clean glass of water. She talks about if you put, the dirty water in front of people, and if they're thirsty, they'll drink it. But if you put the clean glass of water in front of people, they'll know what it is. And so our clean glass of water is we're doing the work and creating the structures, creating the 501c3s and all the rest of that. That comes down the line. And like I said, I've been a part of that. I know with the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, we were busy trying to uplift the name of Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer. We didn't think about starting a 501c3 and structuring ourselves in the beginning. We were thinking about how do we uplift the name of Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer. And the same thing with Black Lives Matter. We were on the ground to challenge state-sanctioned violence and represent the families of murdered victims and impacted families. That's what we were about. And as time went on, and the movement picked up steam and people began to see what our demands were and what we were doing, they wanted to be a part of it. And one way that they could do that was, of course, making contributions. And certainly after what happened with George Floyd, people began to see that this was an organization that was doing the work and should be supported. And that's what happened. And because maybe all of the infrastructure wasn't there, other people stepped in and began to misuse and misrepresent what was happening. And when I say misrepresent, I want to go back to that analogy of people who support the team and they wear the jersey, but they're not on the team. They just wear the jersey. And that's exactly what is happening here. And part of what we have been doing is making sure that we distinguish ourselves. Black Lives Matter Grassroots is Black Lives Matter. And one of the things we've been asking people to do, one is to support us, and they have been, but also they can sign a letter, an open letter, to demand that GNF give the movement its belongings back. They can go to tinyurl.com/open letter to GNF, sign that letter, and help us send a message to these consultants. And when I say these consultants, this Bowers person has no movement history. Now, he's young, so but and when I compare his history to my history, that's not fair. But if I compare his history to people in the movement in the past,
let's say
years,
Joseph Williams, for example. Right. Like, let's say Megan Castillo, for example.
Yes,
she's young.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So he had, he's some outside consultant who, and one of the things that I want to, Mama Paula, who is on our core team, talks about, consultants are about making money. They're not about making movement. And that's what he's about, making money.
All right. Well, let's go. You know what? We're taking your phone calls when we come forward. That's what we'll do. 800-920-1580. We're talking with Akili and you and Dominique DiPrima. This is KBLA Talk 1580. We're unapologetically progressive.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Coming to Los Angeles. It's the show that rocked the country, playing to over 1.5 million people. It's God's trying to tell you something. Coming to the Wilshire Ebell Theater for one day only. Saturday, April 22nd at 2 and 7 p.m. See what everyone is talking about and feel the power of God.
So this was the bomb. I loved it.
It was really, really good.
Amazing singing.
And the performers were fantastic.
A little crying. There was a lot of laughter. My kids was like, Mom, what's wrong? Because I started to cry. And I said, these are just tears of joy.
It met and exceeded the expectations. It was very well presented, and everybody did great.
It was fantastic. I felt like I was on Broadway.
Tickets on sale now at Eventbrite.com and God'sTryingToTellYou.something.com. It's the theatrical masterpiece you've got to see. It's God's Trying to Tell You Something.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed it. So blessed to be here.
Don't miss it.
California Black Women's Collective Empowerment Institute President and CEO Kelly Todd Griffin says the state of Black women in California is troubling. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News. The Mount St. Mary University Center for the Advancement of Women released their 12th annual report on the status of women and girls in California. The 40-page document reported that the wealth gap among women is vast. Findings show less money, more poverty, and less corporate leadership amongst Black women compared to white and Latina women. In California, Black women hold 4% of the bachelor's degrees obtained. Kelly Todd Griffin of the Black Women's Collective believes there's a connection between Black women's trailing in education and wealth figures. Good news is money is going towards programs targeting Black women. For more information on the report, visit msmu.edu. I'm Maisha Cairo, and that's your K-Black Minute News.
Are you looking to steer your career in a new direction? Driving for Culver City Bus can be your ticket to a long-lasting career with excellent benefits and paid training. Culver City Bus is looking for customer service and safety-minded bus operators to join the growing team. Culver City Bus offers on-the-job training starting at $19.10 per hour, uniform allowance, and health benefits. Culver City Bus is a great employer. Let Culver City Bus connect you with an essential service job. If you enjoy driving, seek real opportunities for career advancement, and passionate about making a difference in the community, then you are invited to join the Culver City Bus team. Start your journey today by submitting an application at culvercity.org/jobs. For more info, visit culvercitybus.com or call live customer service operators at 310-253-6500. Again, 310-265-6500.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
And we're talking with Akili and you, 800-920-1580. Akili, let's go right to Big Phil calling us from L.A. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Creek didn't rise, good morning. Devil blazes, don't sleep, keep praying up. And my brother, I hope you guys win the case of Black Lives Matter. You know, money, love of money, the rule of all evil. People play games out here. One of my clients, Bob Womack, got a song, Games That People Play. So I hope you guys win the case, and win big, okay? And I'm going to get kind of a little off track here, Dominique. You might have heard Tavis about interviewed that brother traveled with the Klansman. Is his name Daryl Day? Daryl, yesterday, the interview about the Klansman.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but yeah,
You know, and I said to myself, how in the world you travel with these and not getting lynched? I think that brother's informant for the master. I hate to say that. Because if they're doing all these marches around, he should have notified Black folks that they're coming in our neighborhood. And it's nowhere impossible. This brother didn't get lynched, know anything about that. He's traveling with the Klansmen. And come on now. Anyway, I'm going to get rid of the land. I hope Murphy Thomas wins the appeal. We're going to keep it moving. I'm going to fight on with you guys. I love you. I love Tavis. I love Miles. Take care of yourself. And, brother, good luck with your case. God bless you.
We love you back.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And one of the things that you can do to not only provide your prayers and love, but you can sign our letter. You can go to tinyurl.com, open letter to G2, number 2, GNF. Sign our letter. That's one way that you can help us, and we appreciate your support. And just simply go and do that. That's one way that you can demonstrate your support. So thank you so much.
We will continue our conversation with Akili and you when we come forward. It's 800-920-1580. We got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Join Black Wealth Matters, an educational series as we explore and explain the Black College Athletes Playbook in a 5-part series starting April 6th. Dr. Davarian Baldwin, an award-winning scholar and author, seen in Time, CNBC, and more, helps us follow the college dollars. Coach John Mosley, fan favorite of Netflix's docuseries Last Chance U, covers the new world of the college athletes. David McGriff, one of the leaders in the NIL and sports world and owner of the McGriff Agency, explains NIL and the effects on Black athletes. Keisha Richardson gives the challenges of raising a Black athlete. And last, for the bonus series, we want to give athletes the tools to capitalize from their name and likeness with swimming bronze medalist from the 2021 Paralympics, Jamal Hill. There is no cost for the series. It's a live webinar. Questions are welcome. Register on KBLA1580.com.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back indeed. Talking with Akili of Black Lives Matter LA here, and also the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, touching on a few local issues. Of course, the fight to fill Nuri Martinez's seat, the disgraced city council president who stepped down after the release of those racist anti-renter, anti-indigenous, etc. tapes, is gone to a runoff. And so we won't know for a while who is going to win. And Kevin DeLeon's recall has failed. Any thoughts about either of those situations? We only had an 8% turnout in that city council special election for the council district 6 seat.
Yeah, and I think that's an example of the kind of difficulty it is to move people beyond the national elections and when it comes down to their local elections. But I want to very briefly hit on Kevin DeLeon, because he represents the kind of bad faith that that we are looking at now. On the one hand, in Tennessee, they're removing elected officials for participating and supporting their constituents in protest. Here in Los Angeles, we have a city council member who displayed and talked about and was anti-blackness and was in racist statements, and that person is still on the city council, has not been isolated, and is still being able to represent the city council. It was a bad reflection on the city council, quite frankly. And we are still calling for his resignation. We will be fighting with others to make sure that, if he's not recalled, certainly not reelected.
I feel like we should have a contest, like whoever can come up with a great way of getting Kevin DeLeon off the city council will get a big prize. I don't know what that prize is. I'll give you a giant pack. I'll give you a little First Things First mini library. I'll give you T-shirts. I'll come with all kinds of stuff. Because even if we are not in a position to implement it, at least we can perhaps inspire some elected attorneys and others. I was thinking, could we find out which the ground of which indigenous people his district is on? You might already know this. and then ask them to expel him based on tribal sovereignty or something like that, since he's so anti-indigenous? I'm reaching here, but can we convict him of a crime? I mean, somebody get creative. We got to get this dude out of here.
Well, the first thing that the city council can do is isolate him. He shouldn't be on any committees. He shouldn't be able to,
they kicked him off the committees, but he's still there voting.
Well, and he shouldn't be even asked to. They should isolate him and not make it comfortable for him to show up and be in their presence, because his presence, I think, besmirches the whole city council. If you are in participation with somebody who's a criminal and you support that criminal, it tends to rub off on you. So they are, so there's more that the city council can do. Kevin DeLeon is a disgraced politician, needs to be treated like that, and we certainly will be working with others to make sure that his tenure on the city council is ended. Yeah,
I also think that there's a brazenness about, I'm going to disrespect the African-American community, and I'm going to disrespect renters, LGBTQ plus people, Armenians. I mean, even though he's denying it, but the fact that he can so brazenly disrespect us, black people, and just have no consequences, nothing, zero, other than being, protested by Black Lives Matter LA. I mean, and the other groups, indigenous groups and others that stood with you. But I mean, as far as official consequences, he only lost his committees, and he gets to act like nothing happened.
Well, they can break the quorum whenever he shows up. And that would be a sign that they don't accept or approve of his presence on the city council.
But see, to me, that's problematic because we can't hamstring Mayor Karen Bass and her agenda in trying to get these unhoused people off the streets. We can't hamstring her. Then we'll be allowing Kevin DeLeon to shut down Mayor Karen Bass, and they can turn around and blame her for not getting anything done. Meanwhile, we don't get progress that we need. I mean, it doesn't seem right to allow one corrupt and disgraced politician to shut down the entire city.
Well, but what that does do, and they can always reconvene. They can always, within the committees, take those kind of decisions and move them to the broader city council. But what that will do is send a message that, one, he is disgraced, and two, that they don't want to work with him. I'm not suggesting that. Well, yes, I am. Quite frankly, quite frankly, the city should shut down if they've got a racist, anti-black city council member. They shouldn't, feel comfortable being in and around them and making decisions. And so, yes, if it means shutting down the city, then that's the consequence of having anti-black racists on your city council. And I think that's the kind of action that needs to be taken. Once again, they can always reconvene. They can always pick up the matters and move forward. But they should not be in proximity to, they should not be demonstrating support for, they should not be looking to participate with Kevin DeLeon under any circumstances.
We've got about 60 seconds here, Akili. What do you want to say about the Black Lives Matter Grassroots versus Global Network Foundation action that took place this week?
Well, first of all, it underscores, and we want to underscore that Black Lives Matter Grassroots is Black Lives Matter. Two, that we are in court in a lawsuit that we felt we had no choice. And finally, what we are doing is trying to get back and keep our good name and the resources that was built off the backs of the work that people have been doing for a decade as it relates to Black Lives Matter, not to some group of, nice consultants who sit around and think, well, maybe we should be doing this. We also want to invite people to join Black Lives Matter every Wednesday to end police associations at 1313 West 8th Street at 4 o'clock, and then to join Black Lives Matter Monday, April 10th at 6 p.m. on King and Crenshaw as we remember and commemorate the anniversary of Gasharia Mack, a young man who was killed in the mall. So please join us and keep in touch with Black Lives Matter social on all social media.
All right, Akili, thank you so much. Of course, follow BLM Grassroots just in case they never get their socials back. We're taking your phone calls, and Jasmine Canick is in the building. Yes, indeed, we'll be on YouTube. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Lawmakers did knowingly and intentionally bring disorder and dishonor to the state chamber when they protested